Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who just got done with the all-you-can-eat buffet at Olive Garden and is currently drinking a yak milk latte. It's Erik Hoffmeyer.
Wow, that sounds delicious. I'm going to do this entire podcast on a treadmill like Sonic the Giant and run that off. This might last maybe 2 minutes.
Yeah. And so you might just hear a heavy breathing during this, running, and potentially a broken ankle during this. But, you know, it wouldn't be a Sonic the Hedgehog episode without it.
That's very true. And when you listen to this, I advise putting it on double speed just to get the feeling like Sonic of going really fast.
Talk super quick, and then it'll be over. Put 2x speed, over in a half hour. Perfect length. You'll get the entire movie in. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's perfect length, just like Sonic. An hour and a half of fun.
It's not. And so I have a question for you, Erik. You're an evil genius who makes drones and has prevented coups that never even happened. He's been to Mogadishu. He's been all over the world. Your assistant, would you want his assistant? His assistant seems pretty good in this movie. Makes great lattes, puts up with throat chops, finishes his sentences, helps him out, like speaks for him when he's talking to Neil McDonough at the place. Like, he has a pretty great assistant. So you're an evil genius. Do assistants get any better than this?
That guy did take a lot of abuse. I mean, that reminds me, when you first get out of college, everyone asks you what experience you have, but you're like, no, I just got out of college. So you just got to get your experience somewhere. Yep. You know, whether that's an evil genius or not, you know, you just got to get something on your resume. So I respect what this guy is doing. And he does make great lattes with Austrian goat milk.
Oh, I love it. And I think it's funny, too. So Robotnik clearly is much smarter than him, but he also seemingly sort of respects the guy. So he has to be somewhat smart, if that makes sense. He can't be a geek off the street. He's got to be the creme de la creme of like Ivy League assistants.
Yeah, that's a good point. If Dr. Robotnik is hard on him, it's not the assistant's fault because the guy is clearly smart. Robotnik just lashes out at the world because it abandoned him. So it doesn't matter what you do, the guy's going to be upset with you all the time. So at some point, you probably just become desensitized and not even worry about it.
I love it. And so, you know, that throat chop was a Carrey just on the day. He's like, what if I punch you in the throat? And then the guy's like, yeah, do it. On the commentary I listened to. So he just thought about that on the day to punch him right in the throat.
Well, he went for the high five, and the guy fell for it, and then he took the throat shot. Oh. And he's like, don't let your guard down.
Makes me so happy. And so this is really random, too. They were doing an interview with Ben Schwartz, the voice of Sonic in this movie, earlier in the year. And since there's been so little, like, there haven't been many movies out. There hasn't been many Academy Award nominated features. I mean, it's all been online. So someone went, what if Jim Carrey gets nominated for Best Supporting Actor for Dr. Robotnik? Am I crazy for thinking that's a possibility? I'm crazy.
I don't think you're crazy. I think it's a good move. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, there it is.
I think we will want to see it. And I think his performance was top notch, and all the riffing he did, he was clearly riffing in a lot of these scenes. So I think we all respect it, but you know, given you know the environment and the nomination process, probably not realistic that he would get nominated.
Yeah, it's not a platform I want to die on promoting this. But all right, this movie made $300 million worldwide, and it's one of the few ever comic book adaptations that has a fresh tomato meter rating. So I recently did a thing with Rotten Tomatoes where I looked at all the comic book adaptations, and then they did an episode about Mortal Kombat, the 1995 film. And so Mortal Kombat, from 1995 all the way up until 2018, was the highest rated comic book adaptation ever, at 47%. It's rotten. So it wasn't until the last 2 years where Rampage hit 51%, Mortal Kombat's way better, Tomb Raider hit 51%, that should be like 65%, Sonic is 63%, Pokemon is 68%, and Angry Birds 2 is 73%.
But the audience score for Sonic is 93%.
Yeah, it's insane.
People love this movie. It went from 63% of critics, which I was reading a lot of the reviews, and a lot of them didn't give Sonic a chance whatsoever. They were just Knives Out, ready to go. But 93% of people liked it. I mean, that's why that made me happy to see that.
I was reading this Forbes article about how they had to change the CGI, and credit to them, they gave them 5 months to redo Sonic. So they made Sonic. I wrote down notes. Let's see, what did they do to Sonic? They made him... Where am I? I have so many notes for this movie, of course. They gave him less teeth, bigger eyes, bit more face details, added gloves, new shoes, textured hair. They altered his coloring. They made him less muscular, shorter, and more cartoonish. That's how they had to change him. But
in other words, a complete redo.
Complete. And I was reading Forbes, man, and they were just like, I don't see a way this movie will work. This movie's going to be shit. Oh, crap. I just want to watch this movie to see how bad it is with this uncanny valley of these eyes. So I do think people had their knives out. And a critic I love, I'm not going to say the name, but they were complaining that Sonic just spends the majority of this time in a car. But this movie, man, this movie has, what, an $85 million budget, and maybe it got a little bit bigger with reshoots? That's nothing in a day and age where a CGI character is on screen for 85% of the runtime. So, I mean, it's a low-budget movie. You can't have Sonic running the entire time, because that's really expensive. Put him in a car. Then, you know, a bunch of those movies in a car on an abandoned highway, they just locked off the entire highway. No cars. They didn't want to pay for that. They're just like, screw it. We're not even letting cars go by. Have a good chase gag, talk in a car, and you save your budget for the big scenes. And so I think they handled their budget really well, and I have no problem with Sonic sitting in a car. He wants a buddy, and he's hanging out with James Marsden.
Well, it's not just sitting in the car. There are all these funny gags, like Sonic runs to the Pacific Ocean, comes back with a fish on his head.
Yeah, he steals from a gift shop.
I'm wet. I have a fish on my head. There's other gags, like he goes to the giant rubber ball store, and that shows us that Sonic's just a kid wanting to have fun. Mm-hmm. It had the action sequence with the robot giving birth to another robot, and then another robot.
Oh, I love that scene. The Russian dolls robots. Oh, that was so good.
And it wasn't just the scene in the car. It was advancing the plot line and building this relationship between the two.
And I don't know why I started this, but we started doing Starship Troopers because of the Honest trailer that just came out. We talked about it. When you can go listen to it now. And I listened to the Honest trailer of this, and they were kind of ragging on it, but then they just went, but it's a really good kids movie. And then they did a Q&A with the director, one of the screenwriters, afterwards. And they did a Q&A, and a lot of it was kids. We're talking 6, 7, and they're like, why isn't Tails in the whole movie? Is there going to be a sequel? Who are these people? Why isn't Robotnik fat? And that's the audience, man, and they got it. Like, they didn't make this for 35-year-old grumpy film critics. Like, kids are to watch this movie.
Yeah, I'll say my kids love this. They can watch it over and over again. And I love what you said on, I think it was the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles podcast that you did, the originals from the 90s, about how they respected kids in the movie. There were no innuendos. There was no really crass humor here. There wasn't, anything relationship or sexual or anything along those lines. They respected kids. And we can put this movie on and have complete faith that it's good, wholesome entertainment for the kids.
And there's some good bits for the adults, too. I mean, anytime Adam Holly's in a show, Wade, as the assistant cop, like, anytime he's around, that's amazing. When he's like, are you guys Men in Black? And then they all leave one and one. And then the great bit with Crazy Carl, I think his name is. It's the Blue Demon that I did not just make up because now you see him and everyone knows that I have not been lying for all these years.
Crazy Carl, they should call him Observant Carl.
Yeah, so there's enough. They build on solid little gags in this movie, and even Robotnik. Like, just watching Jim Carrey. This sounds weird, but back in form. Like in Wonderful Mr. Burt Stone and a few other movies, he just, I don't know, something felt a little off, right? He was trying to be Jim Carrey or a character, but in this one, he nailed Robotnik.
He said that someone left the gates open and the Mustangs were loose. He had full range to do this, and I saw some interviews where he would think of funny ideas for Dr. Robotnik, and he would tape up these signs around his area where he lived in his trailer, and just in case it went into his subconscious while he was delivering his lines, great, and if not, whatever. But he had so much fun doing this movie. You can totally tell. He was all in, and I think the most shocking thing to me, going back to the redo on the animation, is they didn't have to reshoot anything with Carrey. They didn't have to reshoot any of the voiceovers from Ben Schwartz, who's brilliant. It was all the animation. Everything else around it was perfect, except for that one animation part. So to me, that's really amazing of how well that they did this.
It's one of the most congenial commentaries I've ever listened to between Ben Schwartz and Jeff Fowler. So this is Jeff Fowler's debut as a director. He was nominated for an Academy Award for a short because he worked with Tim Miller who is the director of Deadpool and a few other movies. He worked at a visual effects house, and my notes are here somewhere. But yeah, so he worked with Tim Miller. Tim Miller handpicked him to direct this. And for a first-time director, of course they storyboarded it. He had Tim Miller there to guide him, who has made several blockbusters. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, it's all good. They made good decisions on this movie. I dig it. And I guess talking about them is, this guy made the step into first-time directing, but he had been dealing with animation for so long in visual effects. All you do is storyboard and visualize. So maybe his people skills, that might be kind of bad as a director. And I mean, once you get on set, it's a different world. You hate life. It's terrible. It's a tough job. But at least he knew how to storyboard and prep and get the CGI, and he got the best performances. And I read that the production went from mid-September to mid-October. And that's crazy to think that they only shot for a month on this movie.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, that's what it said
on Wikipedia.
I looked on IMDb and I looked at other things. But it seems longer, right? Because that's a month shoot. They moved fast. I don't know if I buy that. I don't know. It just seemed weird that it was a month-long shoot. If it was a month-long shoot, this guy needs a raise, this director. Because, I mean, the car stuff probably didn't take long, right? Sitting in the car chatting. The bar scene had to take a lot of preparation, right?
Yeah, or they probably could have shot some things concurrently, because there were a lot of scenes with Dr. Robotnik when he wasn't around Sonic or Marsden.
And there's a lot of plates, too, like the baseball field at night. So maybe they just had the actors for a month, because Sonic running around on his home planet and then on the streets of San Francisco, he just need to get a camera and get a plate and then insert that stuff. And I guess the highway scene couldn't be too bad. Their second unit with the car chases, they probably shot concurrently during that, because you're not going to have Marsden in there. But I don't know, if this is true, let's say they started early September, end of October. That's a pretty easy shoot right there. Jeez Louise. That'd have been fun to work on, I guess.
Yeah, well, this was also in production for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it was with Sony, and then it went to Paramount. So they had a long time to to get this ready before they actually started filming.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I noticed from Jim Carrey's interviews is he put a lot of thought into this before the filming. He built the entire backstory for Robotnik that wasn't there. So he's looking at this guy who wants to be a robot, who's lashing out at the world because the world abandoned him for being an orphan.
Yeah,
he had this
thanks for rubbing that in. That's a great line.
You know what the best part of that line is? Marsden and Carrey were in this ridiculous conversation where Carrey says, "I was spitting out math formulas before you were spitting up formula." And then Marsden says, "I was breastfed," all indignantly, which is a ridiculous thing to tell anybody. And then Carrey says, "Well, rub that into my orphan face." So they use this ridiculous conversation about breastfeeding and formula to help advance and tell people Jim Carrey's backstory, which I think is much more smart than having to go through this long dialogue about where he came from. They just worked it into this ridiculously it was funny, that conversation between the two of them
and
to advance the background.
Chum. He calls him, "Hey, hello, my rural chum." He's like, "Oh, is that Dentist Tim?" And he's like, "No, I'm with Dentist Rob."
Yeah, whenever Marsden has the chance to just stick it to him, he does it. I love it.
He really does, too, doesn't he? And then his wife starts getting in shots later on, too.
Yeah, she made fun of his flight suit.
Yeah. And they're just kind of hanging out on a building talking to him. And sorry, I interrupted you about Robotnik, what you said you kind of loved about him.
Oh, I love how he had Carrey built the entire backstory for Robotnik. Mm-hmm. And they never really got into it. From the game, that it's this crazy guy who loves machines, but the nice part about it is it gave him that chance to really invest in the character, build his backstory, really identify with him. And I could tell that Carrey put a lot of work into this too, like thinking about the character as well as all the riffing he did.
Maybe that's why the shoot could have moved quick. I mean, you have him on there knowing who the character is. I mean, Marsden, he could knock these lines out in 2 takes. Nothing in this movie that Marsden did. And that's not a knock on him, but this is just, he could do this in his sleep, right? He's done these kind of movies before.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, all the actors have. I mean, Marsden did Hop with that bunny. He did Enchanted. There were little animated characters in Enchanted. Ben Schwartz has done Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he did one of the Lego movies, and one more. I think I've written it down somewhere. And Carrey's done voiceover talents as well. So all the actors knew what they were doing. They're so experienced in what works too. And I think the best part about Marsden is that because he's a dad, he's got these kids, and Sonic is basically a kid. So when you look at Marsden's interactions with Sonic, it feels kind of dad-like in that sense, and you could be able to draw from his experience. Like, just pretend Sonic's like this little kid really wanting to go to Disney World and has all this energy and wants to have this fun. And that's the way he talked to him. It was like a kid. So he had all that experience. So he was really well cast and ready for this.
Why did Maddie's sister hate him so much?
That is the one part of the movie I didn't get. Yeah. It was just kind of like, who would not like Marsden? He's the nicest guy. He's really handsome. It's just, and that part was the only thing in the movie I think that didn't really work for me. But the first time I saw it, it was like, okay, whatever, no big deal. But then it started annoying me on the second and third time I saw it. Like, why is this scene even here? Why is it necessary?
She got some great lines though. Like, hey, put on my Fitbit.
Yeah. But that was probably product placement. There was a lot of product placement.
Oh gosh, movie. Olive Garden, trucks, optical illusions. But that's how you get money for this thing.
Amazon drones.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's how you make that money.
If I was Olive Garden, I was like, okay, so they probably paid for that product placement because you don't get mentions twice in a movie because they mentioned it early on, and then they mentioned Olive Garden again with the gift card. You don't get 2 mentions in the movie without shelling out some dough to get that. But it's almost like they were making fun of the Olive Garden in a little way with the gift card because they were kind of let down with the gift. And I was thinking, like, there's no Olive Gardens in Montana. I mean, yeah, I don't see that being there. But then Marsden said, "Oh, well, I'm looking forward to the pasta bowl afterwards." So it was like they kind of, I don't know, it's like they were disappointed with it. But then later on, he said he was excited. So I don't know, it's kind of a weird thing where they're making fun of Olive Garden, but at the same time, it's a product placement. But I've been seeing Olive Garden do a lot. Like, I think Post Malone went there with Jimmy Fallon with all-you-can-eat breadsticks. And then Conan O'Brien took his producer, Jordan Schlansky, who loves Italy. They got dressed up in tuxes and went to Olive Garden. So I can see Olive Garden be kind of forward-thinking on a lot of product placement. But there was a lot in here. And I heard the Fitbit one, and I was like, yeah, that's probably product placement as well.
What I like about the Olive Garden, though, now those breadsticks are in my mind, right? This movie gets the breadsticks in your brain. It's an earworm in this movie. Oh, gotta get those breadsticks. So I think it does a good job of, even if they're making fun of it, it's still an earworm. Because that general's like, oh, I love those breadsticks. Like, why would he give them an Olive Garden? It's such product, and it's a fun surprise, right? It's a callback to Olive Garden. You're like, why did this just happen? But
yeah, it's good. I kind of like how Sonic throws in the pop culture references, but it's got to be tough to do a funny pop culture reference and balance that with the product placement at the same time. So they did a good job, I think, trying to walk that line with raising money for the movie while working those in.
In my head, I'm thinking about how movies that use pop culture elements. I mean, let's say you make a movie. So they delayed this for 5 months, right? You make a movie, you do the VFX for 6 months, and then you get delayed for 5 months. Those references might be old 11 months later. So I do worry about that, but also, I mean, like, kids watching it, they love the floss. Do they still love the floss? Like, do they? Like, I mean, is that going to age the movie a little bit, right? Like,
there's multiple things in here that aged it. Like, for example, when he came in with Sonic into his sister-in-law's house, she's like, "Are those emails?" Remember, she was like asking him what it is. So there was a reference to Hillary Clinton's scandal with the deleted emails. And there's also, he wakes up and he's like, "Is The Rock president?" But that was from like 4 years ago when The Rock was they were kind of joking around about The Rock running. So a lot of the jokes, because this movie was on the shelf for a little while and they had delays, some of the jokes that were written into it kind of felt a little old.
Man, it's kind of wild to think, because we grew up playing, we had a Sega Genesis and we had Sonic. We played a lot of Sonic from what I remember. We had Sonic 1. We never did the ones past it, did we?
I can't remember, but I remember us playing Sonic 1 until we beat it.
Yeah, we had Sonic 1, maybe Pinball? I don't remember Tails. We never played Tails, did we? We just had one.
I can't remember. It was like late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah, but we played the heck out of it, so there's a nostalgia factor, and it's still popular today. And I guess people were worried about, I think Detective, that came out in 2019, Pokemon Detective Pikachu. So they had already greenlit it by then. But that doesn't seem much of a risk to put $80 million on a Sonic movie, does it?
No, that's a good point, especially because the demographic is so strong. Like myself, I played as a kid, but now I have kids. So it's like it appeals to kids and it appeals to that nostalgic level of people our age as well. So I think it was such a safe bet. I think the only way it may not have been a safe bet, which is they probably were worried that it felt like a cash grab, like it felt like an easy target, is maybe why they were hesitant or that it took so long.
They did it right, though. I mean, once I heard Jim Carrey's in Sonic the Hedgehog, Ben Schwartz, when I heard Ben Schwartz is doing Sonic, I'm like, it's perfect. And then when I heard James Marsden, I'm like, what? And then Adam Pally, I'm like, what? This is, they did it right, I think. They brought in pros. This is one of those movies where a lot of movies don't get it. You have an inexperienced director, but he had Tim Miller's guiding him, but you bring in pros and they give you pro work. And you can do it quick. So I think they were smart to make these choices. If they'd have brought in maybe lesser actors, maybe it might have not worked as well. But they did the right thing by spending some extra money on these guys.
Yeah, and they set them up for success. It's like they just took the good aspects of Sonic the Hedgehog and threw the rest out, rather than trying to mimic it completely.
Mm-hmm. You get the world in the beginning, right? So we get to see the world with the loopy-loops.
It was perfect. It was 2 minutes introduction. It was perfect. It was the right amount of time to introduce the character.
And then you get the chili dogs, right? You get the various little things. And people complain that Tails wasn't in this, but the writer said we had Tails in it. But the movie's about Sonic being young or he's told to run, right? His mentor gets murdered, which is brutal. And then he just runs, never stop running. So he's always hiding. And so I think this is his origin story. So you can't really have someone else there with you for an origin story. You can bring them in later.
Yeah, save it for the sequel. Perfect. They did the hint about Tails. They introduced Tails after the movie and after the credits. There was a little scene where they see Tails flying around. And there's rumors that The Rock or John Cena may do the voice for Tails. Is what I'm hearing right now from research.
Really?
Yeah, which is funny because it's so different from Ben Schwartz's voice.
Oh, that sounds funny.
I wonder how that's going to work.
Whoa, The Rock?
This big, deep voice and this little Tails character is pretty funny.
I mean, he proved himself in Moana, so he can do that voice work.
Yeah, he was brilliant in Moana.
What do you I guess, do you even care about the plot in this movie? It's about James Marsden. He has a perfect life. He has an amazing wife. They're very supportive. She's a doctor. And then he's like, I want to go be a cop. And she's like, well, you supported me, so I'm going to support you. I mean, it's very... it's really a bare minimum. I'm going to go to San Francisco and be a beat cop, and I'm going to make a difference in the world. You're like, what?
No, I don't care at all. I mean, I think it's because of kids, too. I mean, kids fine. I mean, they don't care that it's the exact same plot as Bumblebee or E.T. with some alien from outer space coming and relying on people to help them. I mean, it's been used as a pretty reliable formula as well. But, I kind of liked it. The wife was part of the solution. They supported each other. She was in on the fun and the mischief, and I always like to see that happen.
One of the biggest complaints about this movie is it's Sonic sitting in a car. So Sonic could have gotten to San Francisco and he could have gone to San Francisco. He could have gotten there in 4 seconds and gotten his coins. And he could have run up the side of the building because he does that earlier. So people complain about that. Like, what would you say to people that are just like he could have just ran there in the movie? But it's a 90-minute movie. It can't be a 4-minute movie.
Well, also, if he's running the whole time, you don't have that buddy cop feel between him and Marsden. Mm-hmm. You don't have that affection grow to where it means something at the end of the movie. If he's just no one else can run that fast. So if he's just running all the time, how can you develop the character?
Yeah.
I mean, there are funny bits with running, like in the baseball game or when he picked up the turtle.
That's a great way to end.
Have you ever felt so alive? But
turtle
you can't.
Flies out of his hands.
Yeah. It was shaking after the run, but you can't develop the character because no one can keep up with him.
Yeah.
And of course Sonic could have got there, but he was just relishing his time having a friend and having that connection for the first time. So that part in the car, it didn't seem that long. And I read a lot of the critics, and I didn't really see much complaints about that because I thought it was a smart way to advance the movie.
And it's cheap.
Yeah, everyone loves a road trip.
Yeah.
All the mischief you get into on a road trip.
And the bar scene I dig. It kind of, all right, it wasn't kind of, but it was definitely, X-Men Days of Future Past and then X-Men, there's two Quicksilver scenes where he goes in super fast motion and does the same exact thing that Sonic does. Have you seen that?
Yeah, and this was called Sonic Time. They did this in the game.
Yeah, and so, I don't know, I like that bar scene, and they were fiddling around like, should we get a phantom camera in here? Should we shoot this in 120 frames per second? Like, how do we shoot this? And then at the end, they just had the people stand still. That was their... with the camera motion. Yeah. So, because, listen, man, you bring in a phantom camera and that slow motion, you got to bring in the operators for it. You got to bring in the focus pullers. You got to rent the camera. And you got to have all the people standing there doing the same thing. Or you can just have them stand still. And that's what they did.
Oh, I didn't realize they were all just standing still there.
Yeah.
He wrapped the guy in toilet paper. He's like, oh, man, did you see how much toilet paper I used?
Yeah, that was amazing. Just the little gags. He put the stuff on the guy's head and like the big wedgie.
Yeah, and the kids liked those little gimmicks, those little gags. That was funny. They found it hilarious.
And I guess it shows us. And nothing he did was especially mean to these bar fighters.
It wasn't mean spirited at all.
Just wedgies and bear stuff. And then Jim Carrey shows up and beats one of them up. And that poor guy got beat up twice.
I like how they thought Marsden and Sonic were hipsters. It's like, we don't want your kind here. What do you mean your kind? Hipsters.
Yeah. What does that mean?
How dare you?
What does that mean?
Yeah. It's like, how dare you is a pretty funny response, but it was just so ridiculous. It's like, they're the farthest thing from hipsters. And then I thought it was funny and it worked because it was so ridiculous and out there.
What was Jim Carrey's story? So he was young and he got beat up by a bully. So then he invented something that destroyed the bully's face, and the bully had what was that? And then he's like, what did you learn from that? He's like, I'm gonna do it again. Like do you remember that story that he told? I have it in my notes here somewhere, but he threatened the guy. He's like, I got punched in the face once and I went and I destroyed the kid's life. Didn't he say that? Yeah,
he invented some kind of contraption to get the bully back and then beat him up and it never messed with him again, and he never lost a fight. And then that's when Marsden hung up on him during his big triumphant speech. And Anna Pauly's like, I think he hung up on you because the light isn't on here anymore.
Oh, I love that scene.
In the midst of his big speech, then there was, hang up. But that was another way they showed Robotnik's background about just raging against the world right now.
And he calls him, Officer Brain Fart? Isn't that what he's... Oh, all right, cool. Hey, so how about this? Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we will talk more Sonic the Hedgehog. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And coming back with me is Nobody Cares. Nobody cares. So, you know what?
What's your name again? Nobody cares.
Are you in charge here? Yes, nope. Wrong. Nah. I'm in charge. Is Major me? I love this line. You've never seen anything like this before. It says I'm the top banana in a world full of hungry little monkeys. And then, in a sequentially ranked hierarchy based on a level of critical importance, the disparity between us is too vast to quantify. The doctor thinks you're basic. Oh, I love that. And then, oh, man.
Machines don't need time off to get drunk and put the boat in the water.
And they brought in Neil McDonough for that. He's in everything, man. He's a big name. He's been in the Marvel movies, like Rundown with The Rock. I mean, he's in Yellowstone, like anything you can think of. Band of Brothers, Justified. And they brought him in for one scene to just be destroyed by Jim Carrey.
Sounds like a favor. He owed the director a favor, is what I'm guessing.
But imagine that, Eric. You're a character actor. You've been successful. You're in the biggest. Like if someone needs a good heavy, they bring you in, right? You've been doing this for years. And someone's like, hey, man, you want to go get dissed by Jim Carrey for a day? Yeah, pay me. You're like, that sounds amazing. Give me the money.
It's a badge of honor.
Yeah. And I think that is. I mean, he steals, like, his dance sequence in Robotnik's dance sequence inside of his thing where he gets his head bit off by the T-Rex. He picked that song. He hand-picked it, and he pitched it to the director. And that's a brilliant physical comedy scene. I love it. Give him the Oscar nomination. Think about, how about this? When you write about who should be nominated for an Academy Award, just include him on that list. Does that make sense? Just put him on the list.
Just add him to the conversation because he was having so much fun with that, the skiing and running from a T-Rex, and he did like kind of a provocative dance with the pole, like a little bit. which was ridiculous.
Just dancing around, and I mean,
when my kids watch the movie, when that scene comes up, they're like, "Daddy, the bad guy's funny dance scene is coming up."
You know what my favorite line? And when Sonic says, "Your egg drones are impressive, Eggman, but face it, you'll never catch me," and he goes, "Confidence, a fool's substitute for intelligence." That's a good line. That's funny. Like, that's well written in there. I think that's where this stands above a lot of other kids' films that come out. And there's good lines in it.
I agree. My favorite was one where he also shared something about his past, but in a funny line. He says, "Have you read Charlotte's Web yet? Spoiler, she dies, but after leaving a big creepy egg sack. And then he called his drones his babies. Like, look what came out of my egg sack with his babies, with these drones." I mean, it works because they're talking about eggs, then he's talking about his babies, and then you could get a tell for, like, this is his family, this is what he loves, but it was just so creepy and funny and memorable too.
Yeah, I don't know if he's ever been out of form, but this is in form, Carrey. I think there are moments when actors there's paycheck performances, and then there's in form. And I think this is one of those in form performances. Now, we're going to do something real quick, and I'm just throwing this on you. You brought this up to me. Peter Rabbit and Sonic the Hedgehog both have 63% tomato meter scores. The exact same.
Right.
And famously, at MFF, we did a 2-hour episode about Peter Rabbit that got really dark.
It was a good one. It was a good episode.
We brought in, Adam brought in his kids to review it in the beginning, and then we talked about gangster drug dealing animals and a weird thing, and it gets a weird thing, but let's do this. Which one's better? Which one do you like better? Wait, all right, how about this? Which one's subjectively the better movie? Which one's objectively the better movie? Which one has the funniest part? So, like, let's do a clash real quick, because I love Peter Rabbit and I love Sonic the Hedgehog. So, Erik, which one is subjectively the better movie?
I would say Sonic, and we're talking subjectively here, they both the same Rotten Tomato score. However, on the audience score, Peter Rabbit went down to the 50s. But Sonic's audience score went up to the 90s. Yeah. So critics were the same, but the audience reaction went in different directions for a movie with live action and animation. Yeah. So I thought, if we're talking purely subjective, audiences like Sonic a lot more than Peter Rabbit. I love Peter Rabbit. I do. I love it because my kids love it. I love it because I find it funny and enjoyable, and I like how it's weird and a little bonkers at times. But I would give the subjective award to Sonic.
Oh gosh, people got annoyed with that bug allergy. Okay, I guess subjectively, I'm gonna say Peter Rabbit because I love Sonic, right? But Peter Rabbit is weird, and so this is subjective. It's just my personal opinion, right? So I'm just gonna say subjectively, I like Peter Rabbit better because it is weird. It's one of the weirdest movies. It's just there's a subplot to breaking ribs. Anytime that happens in a movie, it wins. So I'm gonna give that to Peter Rabbit. Now objectively, so I guess if we looked at box office, audience score, IMDb, and combined them, would you say Sonic the Hedgehog is objectively better? You could use numbers to say it's better, even though that's subjective numbers.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, in terms of money made. I mean, Sonic made more than Peter Rabbit, right?
Ooh, let me pull this up. I think Peter Rabbit was in the 300s too.
Oh, really? Wow. Yeah. Good for them.
But if you type in it made 351 million. But the audiences like.
And they're both going on to sequels.
Sonic. Yeah. The sequel should have come out this year with Donald Gleason rolling down a hill for about 12 minutes. And that's the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life.
Gleason is one of the best physical comedians out there, I think, because he gets beaten up in almost every movie that he's in. I mean, Star Wars, he took a beating. Yeah. He was funny in About Time because he was so awkward.
I'm the traitor. I love Donald Gleason.
Let me ask you this: who's got the better cast, Peter Rabbit or Sonic the Hedgehog? I mean, Peter Rabbit was stacked on the cast.
I mean, it's got to go Peter Rabbit because. I mean, you got Donald, Rose Byrne is the MVP. I mean, someone did a thing recently where the amount of money she gets paid per movie and how much the money makes, she's like the best sixth man in the planet as far as actors that you bring in. Like, the movies she's in make a ton of money. So, Bridesmaids, right? Like, Spy. I don't think it gets better.
She's great as a bad guy. She's up there, like when Spy, and how much fun she had with that role with
Amazing.
the big hair. I mean, let's talk about a villain, and I think we're going to get into this later on our draft, but Rose Byrne's up there for villains having a good time.
And I think the best performance goes to Carrey, correct?
Yeah, I think because it was kind of transcendent in a way. I mean, there's like what Carrey was doing, and then whatever else was going on the rest of the movie. It doesn't mean that the movie was bad. It's just what he did was so brilliant of a role.
I want to give the voice work to Ben Schwartz though, because James Corden was James Corden. It's good voice work, but a lot of the stuff he did is like, well, you just fell off a post. Like, he reacts a lot. It's good voice work. I like the three bunny ladies better. I love their voice work. But Ben Schwartz is
that was Margot Robbie.
Yeah, and like
yeah, you're right. I would say for Peter Rabbit, they had such a deeper story to it too, with the love interest and the psychological aspects of him being alone. And how his life changed. Like, Marsden's life didn't really change, whereas Gleason's life took this change. And they had that relationship dynamic. So Peter Rabbit was a much deeper story because it touched on a lot of other issues, whereas Sonic was just about friendship, essentially, is what Sonic was about. So I'd say story-wise, it would definitely go to Peter Rabbit.
So who are we giving the MFF trophy to? You can pick. I can't do it.
Oh, jeez.
They're
both so good.
I guess I would this sucks. You know what? I'm going to give it to Sonic just because of this. The history of poor video game adaptations. I think it's a very good children's film. Kids it's a much easier watch than Peter Rabbit, I would say.
Yeah.
But it plays it safe, right? If Peter Rabbit does it, I don't know. You pick. You do it.
I'm going to go, they had a lot of things working against it. When you look at all the other movies with mix of live action and animation, I mean, there's been a lot of bombs like Woody Woodpecker, Hop, Smurfs. I mean, there's so many movies.
Marmaduke.
Garfield. Yeah, I think there was and others where they both took a risk. They both have great casts. They have strong performances from Rose Byrne. I think kind of stole the show on Peter Rabbit versus Jim Carrey. I'd probably give the nod to Peter Rabbit because it was a riskier type of movie.
You swayed me. Peter Rabbit.
Yeah, I mean, Sonic, everyone loves Sonic, and I really appreciate how they adapted and they overcame some of those obstacles and they made it better with the fan feedback. But Peter Rabbit seems like a riskier, more niche type of movie with a lot smaller audience, I would think, that knew about Peter Rabbit and that whole genre and that story than Sonic the Hedgehog, which is pretty linear, easy story to comprehend. So yeah, I'll take Peter Rabbit because there's more of a risk, I think.
Yeah, and that's not a knock on Sonic. I know we just gave a victory to Peter Rabbit on our Sonic pod, but I just want to talk about it because you brought it up. Because I think they're both very successful PG-rated films for different reasons, but the same exact critic score, different audience score. I can see why parents wouldn't like Peter Rabbit, man. The peanut thing, the just horrible abuse that Donald gets. Rose Byrne's character is just on a weird level. There's rib breaking. I mean, and Peter Rabbit himself is much less endearing than Sonic is in this.
Yeah, very much so, because they had that contentious relationship. I mean, he kept messing with Gleason, or McGregor. Yeah, just like the guy just wants to be left alone. He doesn't want to wake up and step on some kind of trap or a rake.
Oh, yeah, in his room.
Yeah, Sonic was just trying to mind his own business versus Peter Rabbit and that relationship with him.
Oh, I love it. Oh, my gosh. But yeah, so I mean, I guess there's one more thing you want to talk about, and that's just Jim Carrey in this movie with his lines, right? He just had some, and he worked with the director a lot on this. So I mean, I think some of these lines were definitely his. What were some of your favorites?
Well, you always take for granted, I think, in a lot of early Jim Carrey movies is how fast he's able to say his lines. Yeah. That speed that he talks is not normal. Like, there's no way I could ever talk at that speed. When you watch Jim Carrey for years, it gets normal. But then when you watch him again years later after having the performance, it's so impressive how fast he's able to do it. The other thing I liked, the lines were funny, but I love how he delivered them. He went into this absurdist screaming. Yeah. He would go from like fast to yelling. Oh, it was like at one point he just screamed like, "Give me a big fat break!" Just scream. Just that 0 to 60 and that kind of energy he has in how he delivers the lines is the best I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
it doesn't feel gimmicky too. Sometimes you see actors with these roles and you feel they're acting, and this one it comes across naturally. I think he was able to kind of bring it all together.
He did, and he did it during funny parts. Like at the end, I love how it's like, oh, you picked up a love interest. Does she have a name, or should we just call her Collateral Damage?
Yeah.
But so in the middle of this situation, he delivers these lines that just cut through the little spaceship he's flying or at the top of the building. So with all this going around, what he's saying is the most interesting thing going on. And I think perhaps my other favorite is when Sonic like turned left while he was chasing him, and he was like, "Oh, that was a legal left turn, by the way." So he's chasing around, blowing up buildings, and concerned about a left turn. To me, that comedy is just so funny to me.
There's some serious property damage in this movie.
Oh, yeah. He was blowing up a lot of buildings. He was doing a lot of shooting.
Yeah, there's wanton violence, but he said collateral damage. I don't think he cares about people.
No, he thinks robots are superior, so nothing else matters to him.
I don't think he cares about killing a bystander, do you?
No, he did blow up a bus.
Yeah.
That bus that Sonic went under, that bus was blowing up.
Yes.
So, strangely, I think this is the first time I realized that there's probably some casualties going on here in this final scene that they just kind of sweep under the rug or don't explain. I'm just glad my kids didn't pick up on it.
They should have pulled a Bad Boys 2 and be like, no cops or innocent civilians were killed after that half-hour gunfight with 7,000 bullets sprayed all across Miami. They should have put that notice up. Remember that on Bad Boys 2?
Yeah. Will Smith kills a lot of people in the Bad Boys trilogy.
Yeah.
A lot. There is a huge body count in those 3 movies.
I gotta say, man, I think the biggest laugh I've had in 2020, though, is when he's talking about, this is a spoiler, I don't care, when he goes, he's mine, and then Martin Lawrence goes, yeah, he is. Remember that line when he's talking about?
Is that on Bad Boys 3?
Yeah, have you seen it?
Yeah, I have. Is that when he was chasing after his son?
Yeah, and then he goes, he's mine, and then Martin Lawrence goes, yeah, he is.
No, not off the top of my head, but I see it was a really smart line. It was good writing.
Yeah, they wrote, like, I could retire on that line. I would love that. So what else haven't we tackled here? I mean, we haven't talked about the rings yet.
You know what I would love to talk about is, I think a lot of movies, like especially if they're silly slapstick comedies like Zoolander or Dodgeball, where you always have the villain that's really funny. But what I appreciate when a movie isn't necessarily a straight comedy, when you can have a villain who's having a good time. So Sonic's like a kid action adventure comedy, this hybrid of different styles for a kid movie. Carrey is having a fun time. So I like to see those movies where it's just so evident that the person playing the villain is just shining and having a good time. And I want to challenge you to our draft of the podcast, which is villains having a good time.
Oh, okay, cool. Who goes first?
You can take it.
Oh man. Okay. So I got a great. I don't know if people are gonna remember this one, but I gotta take number one. Top of my head is Shang Tsung from Mortal Kombat. And
oh, you're right. He was over the top.
Yeah. And there's a scene right where he's sitting in his chair and the back of him has peacock feathers, and he's just every word he's making a meal out of. Your soul. Like he knows what movie he's in, and so I just have to go with Shang Tsung. That's
a good point. He was kind of like a video game-esque character because he was so over the top in that, and I think he played it well.
And then that final fight, right? He had that sweet vest, and then there's a scene during that final fight where they'll trade up to 12 punches, like strikes, and then a cut. Like this movie Mortal Kombat has really good. If you watch it, there's good choreography. I dig it. The guy who did Karate Kid worked on it. The guy who designed the They Live fight in Mortal Kombat did the fights too. So yeah, that's mine. Shang Tsung, Mortal Kombat, 1995.
And I would say that's a very good tie to the topic of movies based on video games. Well done.
Yeah. Oh crap, I didn't even think about that.
I'll take, probably the bad guy who is kind of unintentionally funny would be Hans Landa from Inglourious Basterds.
He was loving life.
I mean, he's terrified, but he is just relishing that role.
The way he eats.
The way he talks to people, he switched to languages to the end when he turns himself in. I mean, that was probably one of my favorite performances by a bad guy ever. I mean, that was Alan Rickman level. I mean, that was way up there with the best bad guys ever done.
Can we? Oh, wait, that's a ring. I love it because every second he was on set, he enjoyed himself, man. Like,
Agree.
Yeah. So
Agree.
we're going ringers. So I'm glad you picked a ringer. So I'm gonna take Ernie McCracken from Kingpin. Right?
Oh, all the character flaws that he had with being promiscuous and that outrageous comb over and this little hand wiggling when he was throwing the I mean, I think Bill Murray blew the door open for possibilities for the antagonist.
Yeah.
Ben Stiller, Will Ferrell, all the greats that came after that had to have been looking at Bill Murray in that performance. Because I think a lot of times in that era and before that, they had funny antagonists, but always bad things happened to the antagonist. Mm-hmm. Like they would get bad things, and that would be what was funny about it, because something bad happened to them. Versus you're this antagonist, but you have this personality and this just outrageous character that's brilliant. And I think Kingpin was so revolutionary in all these new opportunities that opened up for villains.
He should have gotten an Oscar nomination for that. I'm telling you. He should have gotten it. All right.
Agree.
All right. So I got Shanks on it, Ernie McCracken. Who's your second?
So I think this might be a kind of an untraditional pick, but I would pick Rachel McAdams from Midnight in Paris.
Oh, man.
So she wasn't funny. She was just so evil in that movie. And I think it was funny. I think I liked it because it reminded me of her Mean Girls days when she was in Mean Girls. And Rachel McAdams plays cute, like on Wedding Crashers or Eurovision. She's got this kind of Notebook, very cute kind of way to her. But then she can turn it around and play this antagonist who is such an awful person in so many different ways that I'll go Rachel McAdams because, she wasn't like, it wasn't a comedy per se, but you could tell that she was really kind of enjoying and all into that role in Midnight in Paris.
Her name was what in that? It's like the perfect name too for.
Oh, Inez.
Inez.
This fancy name.
It's real. All right. So I'm going back to her, but I'm seeing Raina Boyanov, Rose Byrne, Spy. Just like,
what was that line where she got called a slutty dolphin trainer?
Yeah. My goal in life, man, I want to know if someone wrote that line and they made the dress, or if that dress looked like it and it was a freestyle line.
Didn't she fall off a building and land on her hair and was okay?
Yeah, she's like, yeah, she fell on her head. It was okay. And then the way she scoots the gun and can barely do it, and her running is terrible. Just her stupid lines, and yeah, I gotta go her. I gotta go Raina Boyanov from Spy.
Man, great pick. I'm gonna go Steve Coogan from The Other Guys.
Oh man,
so because he kept bribing them. He's like, from a bad guy, he was like, "Don't let them take me." Don't let them take me. And the way he was bad by just bribing, but being kind of funny about it at the same time was Steve Coogan. That was actually my first experience with Steve Coogan, not knowing who he was, and I'm a huge fan after that movie.
I love knowing you with Arnold Partridge. That got me big into him, and I like how he gives him tickets to Jersey Boys, and he just keeps doing Vidal Sassoon.
The New York Knicks, like they have front row tickets.
Oh man, I love it. All right, so I'm gonna go Simon Phoenix from Demolition Man.
Oh,
Wesley
great
Snipes.
Pick.
I gotta go Simon Phoenix because, dude, you could tell he loved just his acting, and he chewed that. He chewed that role up. Just loved every second of it. So I gotta go with that. I'm gonna definitely say Simon Phoenix.
Oh, he had fun.
Yeah.
He had so much fun in that movie.
We got some good picks here. I like it.
My next one, I'm crossed on the next one. I'm going to go, I think I like Kate Blanchett in Thor Ragnarok.
Oh.
And the reason is she had those tights and those horns and those knives, and she was strutting, and she's just a supremely confident actor. And has Kate Blanchett ever been bad in a movie before? Has she ever been a villain? Because she soaked it up. I mean, she was having fun in those outfits and being such a badass. And, I don't know. I thought she nailed it.
This is a great pick. She loved every second of being on there. Oh man! All right,
so she looked great. She sounded great. She was believable as a badass.
Oh man! So you have Hans Landa, Anise. Oh gosh. So let's see. What am I gonna take here? who loved being a villain? Who could you just tell embraced their role, loved being there? Can I cheat?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna take Dr. Robotnik from Jim
Solid
Carrey
choice.
from this movie. I know it's cheap, but I want to put him on my team to promote his role. So I'm taking it. Jim Carrey.
We'll
Dr. Robotnik.
start the hashtag like Robotnik for Oscar.
I'm just gonna write. Listen, I'm just gonna start a hashtag like think about nominating him, but don't. Like just include him in the list.
Yeah.
That's gonna be my.
Put him on the menu.
Yeah, exactly. Put him in like the top. Put him in the dark horses for all of that. Just include him in.
I'm
like
in.
that.
I'll help you.
Yeah. All right. So who's your last one? This is tough.
I think I'll go Jay Moore. Jay Moore from Jerry Maguire. He was Bob Sugar.
Bob Sugar. And he just found himself on that and was like, how am I in this movie? And he just loved it, right?
Yeah, I know this one's way back, but he was that person. He was a sleazy agent who you're competing against. I mean, he kind of oozed that. I'm not saying agents are sleazy, but he had that smooth, kind of sleazy way about him that you didn't like. You immediately did not like Jay Moore in it, even though he was just doing his job. That's all he was doing, but you still disliked him, and that's why I thought it was so brilliant.
No, I love it. He's memorable in that movie, too. I need to get that show he did, Action. Remember that show?
Oh, that was the one season that was kind of shot with a Steadicam or like kind of handheld.
And had swear words
was on
that
for
were
one
bleeped
season.
out. Yeah, swear. It was ahead of its time, right? Swear words and Steadicam and single camera kind of stuff, not like a sitcom type thing.
Yeah, it seems like completely a show that should be living and successful on some streaming service right now.
Oh man, this is good. I like these lists. A couple of these people give me panic attacks though. Their performances were so crazy. Raina. I love. That's one thing I want to know, man. What came first? I want to know, like, something I just want to know. Did the line come first?
Have you tweeted at the writer or the director?
Nah, I might just put it up on Twitter and see if people retweet it, see what happens. Because that's funny. That's a funny line.
The world needs to know.
Yeah.
What comes first? Is it a riff or was it written?
And also, man, so before we get out of here, give me your top 3 moments from Sonic. That's tough, right?
Oh, you go first.
All right. Okay. I just love the milk, the Australian goat milk line, because he's being an absolute butt to his assistant, but then he just yells at him, but I love the way you make it. So he's complimenting him on his skills.
And the only way he knows how.
Yeah, that's the nicest he's ever going to be. He loves how his lattes are made for him. And that humanizes this character, right? So I'm going to do that. I'm going to say that.
I'm going to go with the beginning, with the turtle running bit, where you pick up the turtle, and have you ever felt so alive? And I don't think it was particularly that witty, but I just like the tone that it sent early on.
He's a nice hedgehog, right? And he wants to give a turtle a good time.
He's playful. He loves animals. And I think that moment was when I was watching it, it was like, okay, this is going to be a good movie. Mm-hmm. I'm going to like this. It was just one of those nice, funny bits that kids loved. And it was a good sign early on that I wanted to stick with the movie.
I'm going Crazy Carl gets his redemption. Crazy Carl was right.
They did that when he had the chainsaw at the end.
Yeah.
And then Polly was like, keep that chainsaw away from me.
I remember when he said, and that's the thing that you guys have been blaming me for, but I've known the whole time. Like, this is a stupid line in Crazy Observant Carl. He's not crazy anymore. He's just Carl after that. Observant Carl after that. So that's why I'm picking that one. That's my number 2.
I think my next one is I love the ways that the story advanced and explained Robotnik's background through some ridiculous conversation. Whether it's Carrey talking about, hey, look at my eggs from my sack. He's got his drones because he loves machines. And I love when they were talking and we first learned that he was an orphan.
Thanks for rubbing
about
that
in. The whole formula gag. It was silly, but it advanced and you learn about the character. And with a movie that's kind of light on plots and just kind of a fun ride, I thought that's elements of real intelligence in the writing.
I love that. That sticks with me. I dig it. I guess my final man is just the Russian Nestinol drones. Did this have a baby? It just keeps getting smaller. You're not used that's funny. You're used to the bigger and bigger and bigger. And then instead it's just smaller and smaller and smaller. and shows his brilliance, but it's just fun. It's cheeky. And so, yeah, I'm going to go with that. Because it was so... The one good thing about this movie is the well-written lines really surprised me. Carrey's performance really surprised me. And then there were some really creative bits in it. And that was surprising to watch the Russian nesting doll thing. So I'm taking that. It's my number one.
Nice pick. I think the third reason why I really liked it is I think this movie did a great job of going off on its own from Sonic. They didn't try and retell the story of the video game. It was more of an inspiration from the video game. So instead of making the movie like the game, it's like they gave the game a lot of shout outs when they went their own direction. Like that whole mushroom planet, I think they did that because Sonics hate mushrooms, but it's because Mario Brothers had a Mushroom Kingdom. So they kind of had that rivalry there, and I thought that was smart. Went back to the game. Green Hills, the city that they were in, the Green Hill Zone was the first zone in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The bar where they got into the bar fight was called the Piston Pit. And if you remember at the end when you were fighting Dr. Robotnik, there's these pistons coming up from the sky and down. So you had all these references to the game without trying to reimagine the game. It's like they went on with this story inspired by the game and still gave it the shout outs. And I think that's the right formula for video games, to give it those nice nostalgic shout outs for the gamers, but then to actually put a cohesive story together for kids.
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, I love this movie. I really like it. It's good. And it's such a nice, if you're bored and you want to learn more about the film, the commentary track's really friendly. And you learn a lot about the director and the making of it. So yeah, if you're bored and you got anybody out there just wants to listen to it, I totally recommend it. It's good. So if you're bored, check it out.
Yeah, and look to the positive with this movie. I think a lot of critics were kind of rough on it, and I think with the majority of the feedback is this movie is better than it should have been. Yeah. And that's most of the feedback that I've gotten, and I'm so happy that they were able to pull it off despite all the challenges.
First-time director,
first-time director, the animation, but the good thing too is, they upset the base with the first rollout and the design, but they listened to the feedback. I mean, that's neat. Okay, we hear you. We hear you. The director actually tweeted something out. We heard you loud and clear. Thank you for your feedback. We're going to go back to the studio and reanimate this. They work with Sega on it to make sure that they are happy as well. So all these things working against it with, low ratings from the live action and animation, low ratings from other video game movies, the reshoot, the first trailer for the movie with the original animation, it was set to Coolio's Gangster's Paradise, which was not the vibe of the movie at all. So it's like they didn't know earlier on what they were making. It's like they needed that extra time to really figure out what it is that they wanted and what it was. So, I like these stories of success. Instead of criticizing it, I mean, I think it's really awesome what they're able to do, because I think in life we've all had projects in our lives that may have gone sideways for a minute, and it takes a lot of work to get it back on track. So I really respect what they're able to do.
And I think the word of mouth is really great about this movie now. So you heard on that Mortal Kombat thing, everyone's on there saying, we love this movie. People love this movie.
And the
Honest Trailers loves it. They're like, it's a perfect kids movie, but we're still going to make fun of it because we're Honest Trailers.
Yeah, that's what we do.
Yeah. But they're like, it's actually a great kids movie.
Yeah, and it came out in February 2020, right before all the movies were held. So the timing that it came out was so important as well. I mean, 1 month later,
made more money. Do you think it? Because remember, overseas, Corona was overseas before it was here. So I wonder if it came out earlier, it had another few weeks to make money. So it could have been up in the 350s. At least 400.
But luckily, too, it was like for a little while, it was the only comedy in the theaters, really, that was worthwhile seeing. So, I don't know, the timing was very fortunate.
No, this was good. Well, hey, thank you for joining me, man.
I had so much fun. I love this movie, and let's get Jim Carrey included in the conversation for an Oscar nomination.
I think I love it. I know he's not going to. I know he's not even going to be nominated, but let's just put him in the list. Just put him in the list. Do it for us. All right, I like that. But hey, man, thank you for joining me.
Hey, that was awesome, my rural chum.
I'm going to go to Dentist Rob. I got to go to my appointment here. But yeah, for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, and for Erik Hoffmeyer, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.